Remember just a few years ago? It was the biggest buzzword in tech, right? The metaverse. This massive revolution that was going to change literally everything. How we work, play, connect. But now, it's all gone a bit quiet. So today, we're diving in and asking a very, very expensive question.
So is it? Is the multi-billion-dollar dream already over before it even really began? Or is this just the quiet start to a much, much longer story? That's exactly what we're going to investigate in this explainer. To get to the bottom of it, we've got to look at the evidence. And that starts with remembering what this whole thing was supposed to be in the first place. Okay, so let's rewind. Before we can even begin to call a time of death, we have to revisit the dream. What was this grand promise that had some of the biggest companies in the world pouring billions and billions of dollars into the idea?
At its heart, the idea was actually kind of simple, but incredibly ambitious. This wasn't just another video game or a fancy social media app. The vision was for this persistent, shared 3D virtual world, the successor to the mobile internet, a platform you could literally step inside of instead of just staring at it on a screen.
And the promises? Oh, they were huge. I mean, this was pitched as a total game changer for society. It was going to be a whole new way to socialize, a brand new virtual economy for creators, unbelievably immersive games and entertainment. It was even supposed to be the future of remote work and school. The whole point was this seamless blend of our digital and our physical lives.
So yeah, that was the dream. The reality, though? Well, it's felt a little different. And that brings us to the first major piece of evidence in our investigation. This widespread feeling that the metaverse has just failed to deliver.
And honestly, this quote pretty much nails the public perception, doesn't it? A clunky, empty, and expensive ghost town. Instead of that vibrant new world we were promised, the common criticism is that what we actually got was these awkward, lonely virtual spaces that cost a fortune just to get into. Not exactly a revolution.
So what went wrong? Well, the arguments against it are pretty straightforward. The hardware? The headsets are still pretty clunky and way too expensive for most people. And there just hasn't been that one killer app, that one thing that makes everyone feel like they have to be there. All of this led to a ton of skepticism, bad press, and then, maybe the biggest problem of all, the entire tech world's attention suddenly swiveled to something new: AI.
But okay, bad press and public opinion are one thing. To really get to the truth here, you've got to do one thing: follow the money. And the most damning evidence comes straight from the financial reports of Meta's Reality Labs, which is the division in charge of building this whole thing.
And the number, it's just mind-blowing. Since the end of 2020, Meta has lost over 45 times billion dollars on the metaverse. Just let that sink in for a second. That's more than the entire GDP of some countries, all burned on a project that is still hemorrhaging cash.
And this just puts the scale of the problem into perspective for a single year. That tiny little bar on the left, that's the money they made. That giant tower of red next to it, that's how much money they lost. They spent 16 times more than they brought in. I mean, for pretty much any other business on planet Earth, this would be a complete and utter disaster.
And look, this isn't just one bad year. When you break it down by quarter, you see this relentless pattern. Every 3 months, boom, another few $1 billion gone. So yeah, the financial evidence for the Metaverse is Dead argument is pretty darn strong. But that's not the end of the story.
Now we have to flip the coin and look at the other side of this. Because the people building this thing, they argue it isn't a failure at all. They say the metaverse isn't dead, it's just sleeping. Or maybe a better way to put it is, it's under construction. This is what we call the long game defense.
The view from inside the project is totally different. They see these billions of dollars in losses not as a failure, but as a necessary investment. For them, it's the cost of building what they believe is the next great computing platform. They are playing a much, much longer game than the rest of us.
And you know what? They kind of have history on their side. Just think about it. The internet, personal computers, smartphones, none of these things were overnight successes. Each one took decades of expensive research and development before they became a normal part of our lives. The argument is, why would the metaverse be any different?
So the crucial thing to understand here is that there is a plan, and it's a long one. Step 1, make the hardware affordable and easy to use. Step 2, get 1 billion people using it. Step 3, build a real thriving economy on top of that. And only then, way down the road, do you get to Step 4, profitability. And according to their roadmap, we are very much still in Step 1.
Okay, so now we've seen the evidence for both sides.
On the one hand, you have a financial black hole with almost no public interest. And on the other, you have this massive, long-term strategic bet on the future of technology. So let's put it all side by side and weigh the evidence.
So here it is, the two competing verdicts. The case for Dead's pretty simple. The losses are huge and they just keep coming. Nobody seems to be using it, and the entire tech world has moved on to AI. But the case for sleeping counters every point. Foundational tech takes decades to build. It's a long-term bet on what comes after the smartphone. And hey, early versions of new tech are always clunky.
And so, we end right back where we started. But now, you have the evidence. Is burning through tens of billions of dollars on a vision that might take another decade to realize a brilliant strategic investment in our future? Or is this one of the most expensive and historic failures in the history of technology? The evidence is in. The final verdict? Well, that's up to you.